The exterminator who charged you $300 last spring used a powder that costs $2 at the pharmacy on your corner. Different brand name, identical molecule. Today, I'm going to show you how to wipe out a cockroach infestation with boric acid, placed in exactly the right spots in exactly the right way, and how that $2 box carries its kill through an entire colony you'll never see, never reach, and never have to spray. American households spend an average of $300 to $800 a year on exterminator service contracts for a problem this solves permanently, once when you know the method. The math on that is quietly staggering once you sit with it. The part I really want you around for is near the end. Most people who try boric acid say it didn't work, and there is almost always one specific reason: a placement mistake that turns a genuinely lethal compound into invisible furniture that roaches politely walk around forever. I cleared a kitchen that had been losing the roach war for 2 years in about 10 days with this, and I haven't touched it since. Let's start with what boric acid actually is, because white powder from the pharmacy undersells it considerably. It's a naturally occurring boron compound. Boron, oxygen, and water, first registered as a pesticide in 1948. Pest control companies adopted it so early, and it has been so thoroughly proven in the decades since, that it is essentially public domain chemistry at this point. No active patent, no exclusivity. Just a quiet, highly effective compound that an entire industry built expensive branding and service contracts on top of, which is also why it costs $2. The kill chain works like this. A cockroach walks through a dusting of boric acid. The powder adheres to its legs and body. Cockroaches have waxy, slightly adhesive cuticles. Excellent for climbing walls and catastrophic for walking through a chemical powder. The cockroach heads back toward the wall or the nest, grooming as it goes. Cockroaches groom almost constantly, like very small, very unwelcome cats. In grooming, it ingests the boric acid. Once inside, the compound disrupts the digestive system, damages the gut lining, and kills the insect within roughly 72 hours. Not minutes, days. And that delay is not a flaw in the product. It is the weapon. Here is why. Cockroaches are necrophages. They eat their dead. That is an unpleasant detail with enormous tactical implications. The roach that walked through your dusting doesn't die in the open where you'd find it and throw it away. It walks back to the nest and dies there, surrounded by the others. Those others eat it. Now they have ingested boric acid too. They die, and the ones behind them eat those. One cockroach walking through a properly applied dusting can trigger a chain kill that propagates deep into a colony you have never seen and cannot reach with a spray. Compare that to a can of Raid. It kills the one cockroach in front of you immediately on the floor in the open. You killed a scout. Boric acid kills the scout and hands it, loaded, back to the army. Now, where you put it matters more than anything else about this. Cockroaches are thigmotactic, meaning they are drawn to tight spaces where their bodies touch surfaces on two sides simultaneously. This is why they live in cracks, behind baseboards, inside cabinet hinges, along the back of drawers, behind outlet covers, and under the motor housing of your refrigerator. They are not wandering your countertop by choice. They are running a highway system through every tight, warm, dark channel in your kitchen. Your job is to dust the highway. Behind the refrigerator motor is the single highest value target in most kitchens. Warm, dark, tight, and almost never disturbed. Pull the bottom kick plate off your dishwasher and dust the channel along the back wall. Inside the hinge recesses of every lower cabinet. The gap where the baseboard meets the flooring, the channel behind your stove's kick drawer, and one spot almost nobody thinks of. Remove the outlet covers in your kitchen and bathroom and apply a ghost dusting directly into the wall cavity around the electrical box. Cockroaches travel through wall voids between outlets. That application reaches them where no spray can follow and nothing else disturbs it for months. A properly applied dusting in a dry spot lasts 6 months to a year because boric acid doesn't evaporate or biodegrade. It just sits there, waiting. The only thing that removes it is moisture or physical cleaning. Apply it once in the right spot, and it is essentially a permanent trap. Quick pause here. We're about halfway through, and this is the kind of thing I genuinely want to keep making. Stuff that saves you real money and makes you quietly furious that nobody told you sooner. If you like this, subscribing is free and it helps me keep going. I also just opened a membership section for anyone who wants to support the work more directly. Some of the perks are going to be members-only videos that won't go up publicly. No pressure at all. Now, the part most people get wrong, and the reason the spray can industry is not entirely rooting for you to watch this. Most commercial cockroach sprays, Raid, Hotshot, Black Flag, are repellents first. The cockroach encounters the chemical barrier, senses it, and reroutes. It doesn't die, it moves. Spray under the sink, and the colony doesn't die. It migrates to the bathroom, the bedroom, the walls of the next room over. You have not solved the infestation. You have made it larger and more spread out. Pest control professionals actually have a term for this: flushing. Spray visit. 1 moves the colony. Visit 2 chases it further. Visit 3 finds roaches in new places that were clean before. It is not a cure. It is a management cycle that requires your continued subscription. Boric acid doesn't repel. It doesn't trigger the scatter response. It sits there invisibly and gets carried home. And here is the professional reveal that should close the loop on why you've been paying what you've been paying. A commercial pest control product called Boric Turbo, used in professional exterminator accounts across North America, is 85% boric acid by weight. The bottle at your pharmacy is 99%. You're buying a pure version of the professional compound for a fraction of the price. The Exterminator's actual value add is correct application, which is what we are covering right now for the cost of 2 minutes and a $2 box. Here's the thing that ruins nearly every DIY boric acid attempt. And once you hear it, the failure makes complete sense. Most people apply too much. They pour thick, visible white lines along the baseboard, little piles in corners. It seems logical. More powder, more contact, more kills. But cockroaches have existed essentially unchanged for 350 million years, and their survival instincts are not casual. Their nervous systems detect environmental changes with precision. A thick white line along the baseboard is a terrain change they can smell, feel, and see. They walk around it, every time, forever. A dusting so thin you can barely tell it's there, a ghost layer, nearly invisible, doesn't register as a threat. It's not a terrain change, it's just floor. They walk right through it, in the dark, hundreds of times, grooming immediately after. This is the entire secret. Apply it so thinly, you're almost not sure you did it, and it gets walked through constantly. Apply it thick enough to see clearly, and it becomes a permanent roach detour sign that will outlast you. Moisture cancels it. Boric acid dissolves in water, so reapply after any exposure near pipes or damp areas. Dry surfaces only. What to expect in the first week. Activity may briefly appear to get worse. Cockroaches disturbed by dying colony members become more mobile and more visible. That is the chain kill propagating through the nest. It looks like failure. It isn't. By day 7 to 10 with a correct application, visible activity should start dropping. By week 3, most households see it effectively finished. One honest add-on. Boric acid is lethal to live cockroaches, but does not penetrate eggs. Cockroach eggs come sealed in a small leathery case called an ovica, and the powder can't reach inside. A serious infestation can sustain itself on egg load alone even as the adults die. For a heavy problem, pair boric acid with an insect growth regulator called Gentrol, about $12 online, which interrupts cockroach breeding at the egg stage. Boric acid kills what is alive now. The IGR makes sure what hatches next never becomes a problem. Together, they are a complete system. One number to put the reproduction side in context. A single female German cockroach produces 4 to 8 Uthicae in her lifetime, each carrying 30 to 48 eggs. One female, unchecked, is responsible for roughly 200 offspring in 4 months, which is why I only see 1 or 2 is never an accurate description of what is actually happening inside the walls. So here is the whole thing. $2. A ghost layer along the hidden highways behind your appliances. A kill mechanism that runs on the cockroach colony's own behavior. Carrying the poison home, doing your work for you. The roaches you see are the visible edge of an invisible network. The powder gets carried into the center of that network by the network itself. If you've tried boric acid before and it didn't work, go lighter, go deeper, go further into the tight spaces, and stay away from moisture. That is the entire failure explanation, almost every time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.